Hello, how you doing? You know when you're trying to study or learn something new and your mind feels like it's going to explode, bro. You know, or sometimes it just it's feels exhausted, and then somehow you just somehow you just get this dizziness, or not dizziness. You feel sleepy, you just want to go to sleep. When you're trying to study. Oh man, it's crazy, eh? But yeah, that's now I'm trying to say is that's good, when your mind it feels kind of exhausted, or it feels hard, you just will want to drop everything and not continue with your learning, with your studying. That's good. You know what that means? Doesn't mean you're dumb or stupid. It doesn't mean you're, I don't know, man, a slow learner, or that you can't do it. It doesn't mean that. It means you're learning. Something is happening. Your mind is, I like to think it. I like to think it as your mind is. I guess we can look at it this way. Your mind is deassembling itself. The wires and the neurons. It's disassembling itself, and then disassembling the neurons and the wires, and then reconnecting them with different wires, you know so that the information you are ingesting, you know that new thing you're learning, whatever you're trying to study, so that it's easy to ingest it. So, and also, you become familiar with those new things also. The mind becomes familiar with it, because the reason why it feels hard, it feels exhausting, mentally, is because you're not used. Your brain, your mind is not used to such information. It's new, so it doesn't understand it. It's kind of like, it's like they're saying it. Does it say humans are afraid of what they don't understand? It's true. It applies there too. In studying, learning something new, it's like you get this mental exhaustion, man. Bro, it's exhausting, man. You feel like, okay, you will never get this. I don't care if it's math or physics. I don't care what it is, but you just feel like no, no, like, it's impossible. But yeah, it's your mind. I like to think it this way. It's your mind. You know, disconnecting and reconnecting the wires. You know, in your brain. So that it can ingest that information better, better than it did the first time it saw that information for the first time. The first time it saw that. But yeah, yeah, man, it's crazy. But yeah, when you're learning something new, that's how your mind, is like. You get the mental exhaustion and everything. So again, it doesn't mean you're stupid or dumb, or you're a slow learner or something. I mean, you might be a slow learner. That's not a bad thing. You know, it's not a bad thing. I'd say it's a good thing, probably. I mean, I'm a slow learner myself, so it doesn't really affect me. I think it's a great thing for me, because I get to relearn. I get to reread. I guess I get to read my notes again. I get to do that thing again. You know, and then fail again, and then do it again and fail. You know, fail and fail and fail until market. Who knows that? Market. But yeah, I failed multiple times, but as long as I don't give up, I'm not failing. Failure is giving up. That's the real failure. True failure is giving up. As long as you don't give up, it's not failure. It's progress. It's a process, man. If you don't give up, sooner or later you will get it. You'll understand it. Your mind will begin to familiarize this information it's ingesting. You're forcing your mind to become familiar, become friends with this new information. You know, it's the same thing as it's the same thing as life in general. When you meet a stranger or someone you're not familiar with or you've never talked to before, and you're in a conversation with that someone, and it's awkward and it's weird, it's uncomfortable. Like, oh, it's weird. It's the same thing with the mind, bruv. Introduced into new things, kind of like public speaking, when you have to speak in front of a bunch of people or in front of the class. It's nerve wracking. You feel nervous, it's uncomfortable, you feel embarrassed. It's because you're not used into doing that thing. Your mind is not used into processing, I guess the feelings or the emotions you get in that situation. It's not used in being in that situation, so it doesn't know how to process or process getting being in that situation. So so it panics. It panics, and then as a result you become nervous. You just start to feel afraid. So same thing with learning something new, math, physics. It feels daunting, bro. It's like exhausting. Oh man. Oh, it's your mind. It's formulating new patterns inside, so that you can get familiar with that information. And if you press on, if you keep doing it, you know, it doesn't matter if you fail. If you keep doing it, you will get it. That's how it works, man. That's how it works. So, yeah, man, it's you just have to keep moving forward. Johnny Walker. Never stop, never settle. I don't drink. Adverts. It's an ad break. It's an ad. So yeah, advertisement. But yeah, man, yeah, that's how I like to look at it. It's exactly like that. I don't care what scientists or surgeons or whatever, neurologist. My God, I don't care what they say. These guys, professionals. Listen, man. I don't care what they say. I'm saying it. Okay, I'm saying it. So it's true. But yeah, that's how the mind works, man. If it's introduced into a new situation or new information, it panics because it doesn't know how to respond. And as a result, you get nervous, you get, uncomfortable. It's embarrassing. Oh, is anyone watching? Oh, no, don't fall, don't fall, something like that. Don't do anything embarrassing. Just stay calm, it's cool. Yeah. And then as you, keep doing that action, repeating, even if you fail, if you keep coming back, do it multiple times, your mind starts to get familiar with that situation, with that information, you know, with whatever you were doing that's new to you. And then before you know it, it's just cool. It's just turns into, just another thing. It's just a random day. I'm going to present in front of the class. It's just a random day. I'm going to, um, now I'm solving these problems, without, panicking, without having this exhaustion in my mind. It's a breeze. It's just, you know, you get familiar with it. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.